Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Far Lands or Busts. Not wasting any time getting this episode started. That's right, Wolfie. I was waiting on you, and now you're waiting on me. Episode 422 of Far Lands or Bust. This is what we are starting so quickly and expeditedly. Doodly. It's just become a series of random noises. Random noises that I speak for no reason whatsoever. But we are going to continue west towards the far lands with our companion Wolfie here in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. We're doing that because it is the last version of the video game to contain the far lands, and we've been doing this for 3.5 years or thereabouts, and we're still nowhere near it, but that's all right. That just means you have plenty more time to get to know me. No, ew, who wants to do that? Ugh. But we're not going to get to know this creeper because we're gonna keep on keeping on, and we're also keeping on raising money for Child's Play charity. Over at farlandsorbust.com, we are up to $14,348.69 raised this season, Season 5 of Far Lands or Bust, and our goal is $50,000. Once we reach $50,000 is when I will finally press F3 for the first time since last March. Hopefully we can time that around the same time frame, March-ish, perhaps. That's when we started Far Lands or Bust in March 2011. And then I will press F3 again, and we'll see how much more progress we've made. We're a little bit more, well, it's hard to say. I feel like we're a little bit more consistent here if you don't count the, there's Wolfie, if you don't count the month-long hiatus we just got back from, but otherwise I think we've been pretty pretty on schedule with the Monday, Wednesday, Friday Far Lands or Bustises. More so than previous years, I feel perhaps I've turned over a leaf. And it was kind of gross and soggy, and I wish I had not touched such a leaf, but we're getting a little bit more on schedule, and even though, like I said, the great hiatus of November 2014 is over, we're continuing on and continuing to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It is Wednesday, like I said. Did I even mention this? Segue. It's Wednesday, December 3rd, 2014. And yeah, episode 422. Anybody home? Nope. All right, continuing on. Excuse me, Wolfie. We have some space news. Space news is that a couple things happening. I actually didn't know about this until it was too late to have known about it. Oh God, don't go that way. No, Wolfie. This way. Is Wolfie all right? Wolfie's all right. Okay, that was dangerous on multiple levels. Mostly the falling down a giant pit directly into lava level, but we had some space news. Yesterday, there was a space launch from Japan. The Japanese space agency, JAXA, launched Hayabusa 2 yesterday, and it is a science mission, an asteroid sample return mission. This is obviously Hayabusa 2, the second asteroid sample return mission. Already had one that returned with some dust particles of an asteroid. This one, like I said, just launched yesterday, will arrive at its target asteroid July 2018. Whew, spaceflight takes a long time, my friends, even within our own little solar system here. July 2018, it will survey the asteroid for a year and a half, depart said asteroid in December 2019, and return the sample to Earth in December 2020. So, that is, you know, when you listen to these space flight science missions to the solar system, it's not just oh, we just launched the thing, blah, 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 next mission. People have been working on these for decades, and they will continue to work on them for decades. It's quite the investment, that is, until we come up with some other form, perhaps a more efficient or faster form of travel, other than simply depending on your gravitational orbits and slingshots and whatnot. We're kind of a little bit stuck in the chemical propulsion era of spaceflight, so I don't know, we'll see. We will see. Of course, there is the... is it Dawn? I think it's the Dawn mission that uses ion propulsion, but that's actually even slower. That's a constant, very gentle push that is far more efficient, specifically for long-term and deep spaceflight, as far as fuel necessary and weight. But it takes far longer. And then there's also been experiments with solar sails. Again, that has been concept proven, I suppose you could say, on a small scale. But even that is even slower of a propulsion method. But of course, with that, you don't really need to bring along your fuel, because the sun provides your fuel, technically, I suppose, your thrust. But anyway, I digress. So that's kind of cool that launched successfully yesterday. And then tomorrow morning, this was the one that I was wringing my hands about. There was a NASA social for the... Did you hear that? That was my stomach. It wanted to, you know, pipe in for the talk there. I'm very hungry. Tomorrow is the first test launch of the Orion capsule from NASA. We'll be launching atop a Delta IV Heavy. The NASA social actually started. I'm seeing it all with my followers on Twitter. Usually 2-day events. The first day, today, the day before launch, is kind of interviews. There's astronauts there and people who work on the mission, and Charles Bolden, the administrator of NASA, is there, and then they take a tour of Kennedy Space Center. And then tomorrow morning, put up your dukes. No, put up your, what are those things called? Alarms. Can you tell I don't wake up to an alarm? Ah, the joys of working from home. Put on your alarms. The launch is scheduled for 7:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 12:05 GMT, so it kind of favors the noontime folks for you in Europe. I might miss this one, because that's pretty early for me. That is quite early for me. There is a call for some marginally, possibly interference from weather for the launch, especially with these test flights. They run a lot more stricter restrictions about if there can be clouds, or even like clouds that could technically possibly produce static lightning interference within like a 10-mile radius. So I'm not sure what the constraints for this launch are, but the first window opens at 7:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Tune in for that. Like I said, I was really wringing my hands about going to this NASA social, for signing up for it, but what with its close proximity here, I just got back into the YouTubes, just got set up. Close proximity to my big move. If things went wrong, I wouldn't have been able to go, and still settling in, still a bunch of junk and boxes everywhere. Can you tell that my office was the first thing I unpacked and set up? So I just figured, all right, the biggest rocket currently operating in the world would have been a great thing to see fly. I do kind of wish, it would have been a little bit more special if the actual Orion launch vehicle was ready to test out with it too, the SLS, I suppose. But instead, they're just putting the Orion test capsule atop this Delta IV Heavy, which is a rocket platform that's been used multiple times before. It's a commercial launch, United Launch Alliance, commercial launch platform. Oops, well, I guess I did that. And it's a magnificent thing to see. Indeed. It's basically a Delta 4 with 2 more Delta 4s strapped to the side. It very similarly resembles, I've mentioned this before, the launching rocket design that I use in Kerbal Space Program, where I have a main stage, and then let's attach 2 more main stages to the sides as boosters, and go forth with that. But it is going to be, it's going to go into orbit, the capsule. It's going to go in a pretty high ecliptic orbit, I think. Kind of like really high, like almost simulating like, okay, this might be able to get, you know, this is the sort of situation it could get into, you know, lunar, trains lunar injection type of situation. So it's going to get a pretty high orbit, and it's going to be up there for a few hours, and then it's going to return. The reason it's going to get into a high orbit is it's going to return at lunar return speeds, velocity into the atmosphere, because they're testing not only the flight capabilities, but the return capabilities more so, as if it was returning from the moon or a distance thereof at those speeds. And then they're going to recover it, hopefully. So check that out tomorrow. Let's go to sleep. And rocket launches, Gnus. Ooh. Things on fire, Gnus, as well. Right, well, right. Ooh, yeah, we kind of did wait a little bit late there to go to sleep, but continuing on, that should be interesting to watch. Like I said, I probably won't wake up for that, but hopefully we'll have some successful video of that after I do wake up to review. I hope they have a lot of cool onboard. You know, it kind of depends for these. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! That was really close. Hi, how are you? I'm going to just continue walking as if we did not run into each other, my friend. I nearly touched that guy. We had a gentle embrace with a creeper there. Those are not gentle embraces. Oh gosh, is he still after me? No. Okay. Woof. Ooh, look at this place. Let's go to this place. I like this place. I like it a lot. Indeed. Speaking of I like it a lot, I did go see the next Dumb and Dumber, or Dumb and Dumber 2, TO, in the theaters, because when you move, there is a brief moment of time whence your television has not arrived yet, and cable isn't set up yet, so the only form of entertainment I had, with my lack of internet as well, was going to the movies. So I saw Dumb and Dumber 2. It had its moments. It was funny. Don't see it in the theater. But there was that. I also saw St. Vincent, the Bill Murray movie. That one I can recommend. Go check that one out if it's still in theaters. But, ooh, look at this neat plate. Hey, you know what I haven't been doing lately? Got to take some postcard pictures for my patrons. Oh, spoilers. So let's do that from beneath the canopy here. Oh, these trees kind of spoil the view. Let's go up here. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, Wolfie, I'm afraid you're not going to be in this picture, so just have a seat there. Woof! Yes, I know. Ooh, this is an interesting. Yeah. Ooh, that's artistic. I'm artistically. Oh, and there's a spoiler in the view. I'm composing these images using the 2/3 rule, or whatever the heck it's called. The golden rule. What was I saying? Saw that? What other movie did I see? I saw Interstellar. I said that already. I think that's it. I think that's it of the things I saw. No, yeah, that was it. I considered seeing other things, but anyway, I really don't have much plans for these episodes. I'm just like, I need to get recording to get myself used to recording and back up and running. So I really, other than those space items, I really haven't been taking a look at the news or items for which to discuss at Far Lands or Bust. But I do have questions. Still have getting questions. Excuse me, sir. Still having questions at farlandsorbust.com when you donate to Child's Play charity. So let's get to some of those, I suppose. But first, let's make a boat. Boop. Let's make a couple boats. Up, 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 up. Very nice. Woohoo. Awesome. From the Goofy Bison, as opposed to his cousin, the serious professional bison, the Goofy Bison asks, as a high school student that is looking at broadcasting as a potential career path, how viable do you think that would be, and and would YouTube be an at least worthwhile part-time venture? Well, if you ask my opinion, it's a worthwhile full-time venture. Yeah, broadcasting, is always, it depends on where you're from. Obviously, if you're closer to a very large city, a metropolitan area that has resources such as those, major radio or broadcast television. Don't forget, when you go into broadcasting, obviously the default thing is you think about is radio, but also television. Broadcasters go into television, and now, of course, internet. You got your YouTubes, your podcasts, all sorts of, you might not even think about getting behind the microphone. You can get to the technical side of things. They need technicalities, technical folks to work the buttons and sliders behind the scenes. So, I wouldn't, if that's something you're interested in and passionate about, I wouldn't discourage that. You should never really, one of the mistakes you can make is trying to find a career path that is, what's hot right now? What is most in demand, or the highest paying this, that, or the other? Because that generally doesn't lead to you being entirely happy unless that also applies in line with your interests. Investment bankers sure are on the uptick, or accountants, or whatever, and they make this amount of money or whatever, and but if that doesn't align with your interests or your skills, then you're kind of barking up the wrong tree. Barking up the wrong tree, Wolfie. Speaking of barking up trees, let's chop down a tree. This is all a very complex analogy I'm doing right now within Minecraft and about what I'm talking about. No. So yeah, I would say it's a viable thing to look into. And yes, YouTube, for me anyway, is a viable full-time thing. I mention early on in this series that, one of the many reasons people start YouTube channels. One of the reasons I started this YouTube thing is, because I was a big fan of other YouTubers playing Minecraft and video games, Let's Plays. I thought it was a cool idea. They looked like they were having fun, and I decided to try to have fun. I was looking for a new way to play video games, I suppose. And I also wanted to try to come out of my introverted shell a little bit. I wanted a hobby, kind of needed a hobby. I had free time. I like computers. I always liked doing stuff on the internet. And also, people always told me I had a good radio voice. I had a job, part-time job, in a call center. And almost daily, I would get comments from customers calling in saying I had a good radio voice or something like that. A face for radio, if you will. A voice for radio. So I'm like, I can see the parallels here. You got a microphone, you got the audio and commentary and whatnot. Always look into that. So people said I always had a good voice for radio, even before I started doing YouTube, and I always kind of considered broadcast. I considered going into broadcast school in college and whatnot. The community college I went to momentarily had a decent broadcast school, but I never took any of those classes or anything. But always something I considered, and I suppose in a roundabout way, it's something I'm doing now. However, I don't have any professional training in it, so I'm sure there's some detriment to that. But yeah, that's where I've ended up, and a lot of people might suggest, or they've said, I always get the question, have you ever considered going into radio or broadcast or whatever after YouTube? And I'm like, I don't really look at YouTube as a stepping stone. A lot of people do. Perhaps more so the the visual, the vlogger, you know, the people in front of the camera look at it as a stepping stone to becoming an actor or going on to movies or television or something. And I really don't. Excuse me, everybody. Are you trying to stop me from going in this direction? Because this is the direction I wish to go. I'm looking at this cool hill here. You know, they look at it as a stepping stone. I see it as the plateau, the peak of this hill. Another analogy coming forth within Far Lands or Bust, and also what I'm talking about. Is Far Lands or Bust not simply an analogy for life and adventure and stuff? Mostly the stuff, I suppose, but so you know, I don't see it as what are you going to do next. This is what I'm doing now. This is as a web designer, as somebody who likes video games, going to school for fine arts, and you know, I did take a lot of digital audio courses, so there was a little bit of broadcast, I suppose, in that, and audio processing, video processing a little bit. It seems like this is the culmination of all those things leading up to this. So who knows? It's just kind of a different way I look at it. So I don't really look at YouTube as a part-time or a in-between or a while I'm learning thing. I look at it as this is kind of something I just want to keep doing, and that's why I'm trying to, and once I get fully into the swing of things, trying to explore and expand the other facets of YouTube and internet content creation, what with the vlog channel, trying to think about a podcast getting going, and other stuff like that. So, did that answer your question? The Goofy Bison got more than he bargained for with that question answered. But yeah, let's go to sleep here. Oh, look at how far off, man. The block selection is. It really hasn't moved that much. Like I said, it's about a whole texture pixel off. Whatever that means. Whatever that means. Let's go to sleep, and we will continue with another question in the morning. And awakeness. Awakeness indeed. Speaking of the technicalities behind YouTube and whatnot, I got questions wanting updates about this new recording situation. Well, it's not a new recording situation, but I mentioned how I'm using Generic B posted a video where he found a new video codec for which to record videos through DxTory this using the X264 codec, which supposedly then you know, it is the format upon which you end up rendering your video out to from your video editing software, and it's supposed to cut down, you know, his video quite you know, probably looking for the keyword searches, the SEO friendly title, cut your rendering times in half. He advertised with this, and the first time I tried it with the video coming back, that was not the case. It almost doubled my rendering times. This last episode, not this episode obviously, I'm still recording it, but this last episode, I got back to my normal rendering times of about an hour and a half for a 35-minute 1080p 30 frames video. I'm starting to think maybe it has something to do with he uses Premiere to render. I use Sony Vegas to edit and render out my videos. Maybe that has something to do with it. I'm trying recording this time. I'm lowering the quality of the recording once again. But then I'm also recording, I've specified to use the high profile. I should have used that for episode 420. Jokes. I'm using the high profile. If you know anything about video codecs, there's different profiles with the H264 profile. There's baseline, there's high, there's main. I render out to the high profile. I've always heard that's the thing to do when you're doing high def video, but this by default recording profile just used default, so I'm assuming it chose whatever it felt, and it might have chosen a different profile. So I'm trying a different profile here. I'm also thinking maybe, you know, he was recording in 720p at 60 frames. Maybe it helped him in that regard, but I'm recording at 30 frames and 1080p. I don't know. I'll keep fiddling with it. So far, it hasn't had any detrimental side effects, so I'll continue using it and continue to attempt to optimize things. And it also might be just plain and simple my hardware limitations. This is it's going on 3-year-old computer, is it? Yeah, I built it in 2012. Yeah, it's going on 3-year-old computer hardware that I've got running here. Time to upgrade, which is why I'm also wishy-washy. I want to make a new computer, and that was part of the Patreon thing. Once you reach a certain point, I'm like, all right, I'll fast track building a new computer, but I'm like, do I want to build a new recording computer, or do I want to build a new rendering computer? Because, yeah, I could build a new recording computer, but I'll still be rendering on this old thing that takes an hour and a half to do a 1080p video for 30 minutes. You know, it would still save me time because I could render out at the same time I'm recording on the other thing, but gosh, it would be really nice to you know, render out and like, pow! Got a half-hour video, boosh, here it is in 10 minutes. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Those are decisions that have yet to be made. I still got to get set up here. My next priority for the office and recording setup are those audio panels, those bass traps, as I called them, or something. But that's probably my next kind of upgrade to the office. I'm going to make a boat out of wool. That makes sense. Super absorbent. Let's do that. Let's answer another question here. I'm rambling. Boop. Let's continue. I've got actually a question here from. Where am I looking at? What's the deal here? Watch out for Wolf. He's gonna spawn. Yep. Boink. Woof to you too, sir. Woof to you too. Come on. Forgot of the boat. Let's see. Yeah, well, did I answer this? I don't think I answered this. This is a question from a patron over at Patreon. Adam asks, what was it like to have a sudden and unexpected thrust into the spotlight? I don't feel like it was sudden. Unexpected, sure, but I don't feel like it was sudden. It's a very slow and steady slope of subscribers and viewers and things like that. Actually, more recently on the decline. I'm skiing down a slope on this case, but slow and steady. Perhaps the articles kind of caught me off guard a little bit. The requests for interviews, I kind of addressed that a little bit ago about how I'm kind of like, I'm kind of ignoring the requests for interviews. Oh, it was recently somebody sent me the link that the Guinness Book of World Records, at least in a blog post, posted the Minecraft or video game, or maybe just Minecraft records, and showed I think it was Minecraft records. Did the Far Lands Bus thing and gave the latest update. I got contacted by them a while ago. Actually, it was almost just before the last Flobathon, and I'm like, you know what? I'll give you a new number after the Flobathon here, and then you can have the most up-to-date number for longest distance walked in the vanilla game, etc., etc. I thought it was going to go in like the actual Guinness Book of World Records, and maybe it will, but they kind of made it out. Maybe there's like a separate video game edition. So, you know, that's kind of interesting. Ow, Wolfie! That was 3.5 hearts of damage, my friend. Watch where you're going. Or maybe I should watch where I'm going. But, yikes. Yeah, I should maybe, we've had some problems in the past with wolves killing us instantly from full health, so maybe I should take care of this. Actually, I do have some bread already. Yoink! Bloop! Ooh, that was scrum-diddly-umptious. Scrum diddly umptious in deedly doodly. Alright, let's get rid of this dangerous mode of transportation. Hi! How are you? Did you take some damage from that too? You did. So yeah, I certainly don't feel like it was a sudden thrust into spotlight. Take some time and some work, I suppose. Have a seat, have a seat. Have a torch, have a seat. There we go. Boop. Did you get that? I think you got that, yeah, because I'm still down. Heart and a half. I did not eat that bone. What else does this question go? Apart from recording videos for YouTube, have you found that it has changed your day-to-day life outside? Like outside? No, not really. It is interesting to try to explain to new people what it is that I do, but otherwise, no, not really. I don't really let it impact me in any way. I was out when I did take a trip to, I mentioned Portland. The last spring actually, excuse me, last May, and we went to that Powell's bookstore. You know, that it's like a huge, anyway, if you don't know, I suppose, it's a very gigantic bookstore. Like, there's like 5 floors, and it's like a giant warehouse, and each floor is different stuff. And I found on one of the end caps a Minecraft book, and I was just flipping through it, and in the book, they mentioned KurtJMac, because there was a section on the far lands. KurtJMac is traveling to the far lands, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hey, I'm in a book right here in this bookstore that I happen to be in. But I didn't, like, walk around the aisles and be like, I'm in this book, just complete strangers or anything like that. But I thought, you know, that was kind of a neat thing to see. So yeah, no, hasn't changed too much, I suppose, about my outside life. Then they go on to ask, have you ever been noticed while out in Chicago by fans or around my home? No, not around. When I've gone on a trip, I mentioned before I went on a trip close-ish to home and was recognized by somebody working at the coffee shop, and I kind of assumed, oh, maybe it was because, you know, you put in your name at the coffee shop. Oh, is the sunset going to go through that mountain? This is an amazing view. I'm going to build the hidey hole here. Oh, wait, no, I got to get, like, get out your camera. Ha, have a seat, Wolfie. All right, look at the camera, Wolfie. Wolfie. Oh, I don't have any treats upon which to, yeah, look out. Be very majestic and whatnot. Neat. Can't really tell that that's the sun anymore. It's a blinding, blazing light. There we go. There's a nice postcard. I am so great. G-R-A-T-E. All right, so let's dig in here. So yeah, not in the Chicago area, which is good. I suppose that is something I do kind of worry about, is like being out at the grocery store and somebody recognizing me, and I have to be like, I don't live around here or anything. Shh, be cool. Kurt who? Who's KurtJMac? I don't know this person you speak of. So yeah, that hasn't happened yet. Thankfully. I'm not sure how I would react to that. Not that I'm saying I would plan on being unfriendly or anything, but just, you know, me and my standard awkward self, I'm not sure how I would handle such a situation. But no, that hasn't happened yet. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's only really ever happened around conventions and, you know, actual gaming events where people expect me to be. What am I doing here? I'm looking at my crafting table. So I do appreciate that question and the previous question, coming both from a patron and donors to Child's Play charity, farlandsofbus.com. When you do donate, you can leave a comment and leave a question there. All of the donations by default come in anonymous, so if you do want to leave your name, leave that in the comment field, and then I'll be able to attribute the question to a name, to a face, I suppose, to a pseudonym, I suppose, even if you want to use your Twitter or YouTube handle or something. I don't believe I need to really do anything else here, do I? Woof. Woof indeed. So yes, getting more into the swing of things. My voice isn't getting sore by the end of the episode anymore. I'm getting used to making videos again. I recorded a bunch yesterday. We've got a bunch of videos in the scheduler. Forza Horizon, and we're trying out the latest version of Minecraft Bingo. I believe that got scheduled for tomorrow, so getting back into the swing of things, and I do appreciate, again, everybody's patience and everybody's welcoming me back. This has been episode 422 of Far Lands or Busts. My name is Kurt. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Ah, jokes.